You know, it's funny when you think about it, like how one person can have such a lasting impact, on the world. And I think Einstein is a perfect example of that.
Absolutely.
We're talking about somebody who fundamentally changed how we understand the universe. Like,
It's true.
how is that even possible?
Yeah, Einstein's impact, it really goes way beyond, just the physics textbooks, right?
Yeah.
It's woven into so many aspects of our modern life.
Totally.
Everything from like the technology we use every single day to just the way that we perceive ourselves in this like vastness of space and time.
Yeah, and the thing is that it all started with a compass.
It's true.
Like a simple compass that his dad showed him when he was 5 years old.
Yeah.
And something about that just clicked for him.
It's fascinating.
It was like this, this is how things work and I need to figure this out.
Yeah, that fascination with the unseen,
Right.
It's so crucial to understanding Einstein. He just wasn't content with accepting things at face value.
Right.
He was always questioning, always digging deeper, always trying to unravel like these mysteries just beneath the surface of our everyday experience.
Yeah, well, and it's funny because you think someone like that would just be a prodigy from day one.
Right.
But he actually really struggled.
He did.
He was a late talker. He clashed with teachers who thought he was disruptive. And it's like, how many people are out there who, we've just totally missed
I know.
because they didn't fit in this perfect mold.
Right, and that's such a good reminder that like genius can flourish in the most unexpected of places.
Totally.
Einstein is a perfect example.
Yeah.
His unconventional path, I think, really highlights the importance of nurturing curiosity and independent thought,
Yeah.
even when it challenges the status quo.
Which he did a lot.
He did.
So, okay, it's 1905.
Okay.
Einstein is not teaching at some, prestigious university.
Correct.
He's working at the patent office.
Yeah, a patent clerk.
Yeah, so not exactly where you would expect a scientific revolution to be brewing.
You would think, but it's true that year 1905, Einstein publishes not one, but 4 groundbreaking papers.
It's insane.
It's crazy, and it reshaped the entire landscape of modern physics.
Yeah, I've heard it called his miracle year.
His miracle year, exactly, and for good reason.
Yeah, because each one of these papers was like a total game
They're
changer.
huge.
But I think for the sake of our listeners, let's just break down one.
Okay.
And just to give like a really clear example.
Okay, sounds good.
And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not a physics person.
Okay.
So you're going to have to walk me through this one.
All right, let's do it.
So the photoelectric effect.
Okay.
What is that?
So at the time, the prevailing scientific view was that light was a wave.
Okay.
That's how it had always been understood. But Einstein, through his research, proposed something radical.
What's that?
That light could also behave as a stream of particles,
Interesting.
which he called photons.
Photons.
Photons, yes.
Okay.
And this might seem like a really abstract concept,
Yeah.
but it has had a profound impact on our lives.
Like how?
Well, think about it. Like, take digital cameras.
Okay.
They rely on the photoelectric effect.
Mm.
So when light hits the camera sensor,
Yeah.
it actually knocks electrons loose from the atoms in that sensor material.
Okay.
And then these freed electrons create an electrical current, which is essentially the image that you see.
Oh, wow.
So without Einstein's insight, we wouldn't have digital photography as we know it.
That's incredible.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, right.
Like these esoteric scientific discoveries,
Right.
they end up shaping the technology that we use every single day.
Every single day. It's amazing.
It really is. And it wasn't just digital cameras.
Really?
Einstein's work on the photoelectric effect, it actually laid the foundation for a whole bunch of technologies.
Like what?
Well, you have things like solar panels that we use to convert sunlight into electricity.
Wow.
The light sensors that are used in everything from automatic doors
Oh,
to
yeah.
medical imaging equipment. I mean, the list goes on and on.
That's incredible. It's pretty remarkable.
So he really did illuminate our world.
He did in more ways than one.
That's a good one.
Thanks.
Okay, so that makes total sense. Like one discovery can have this ripple effect
Absolutely.
and lead to all these different things.
It's true.
And it's like that whole saying, we stand on the shoulders of giants.
Right.
Like, we don't even realize how much these discoveries impact our lives.
Yeah. And speaking of impactful discoveries,
Yeah.
we can't forget about Einstein's theory of special relativity.
Oh boy.
Yeah, this one is often considered kind of mind-boggling,
It is.
but at its core, it really revolutionized our understanding of space and time.
Okay, so whenever I hear about relativity, I always think of that image.
Yes.
Like that warped clock face.
Right?
Like it's almost melting.
Yeah, it's a classic.
It's very cool visually, but I'm
Nah.
not gonna lie, wrapping my head around the concept Yeah. Is a little tough.
It's a challenge for sure.
So is there an analogy
Okay.
that you could use to explain it?
Sure. So imagine a river, right? Okay.
And sometimes it flows really fast, crashing over rocks, and other times it meanders slowly through open valleys.
Okay.
So imagine time is like that river. It's not constant. It flows differently depending on where you are and how fast you're moving.
Okay.
That's kind of what Einstein was getting at.
Interesting.
He said time isn't absolute. It's relative to the observer and their motion.
Okay, so like if you're moving really, really fast,
Yeah,
time is different for you.
exactly. The faster you move through space,
Yeah.
the slower you move through time.
Whoa.
Relative to someone who is standing still.
That's so weird.
I know it's very strange, but this effect is incredibly subtle in our everyday lives
Okay.
because we don't move at speeds anywhere near the speed of light.
Right, of course.
But for things that are traveling extremely fast, like particles in a particle accelerator, or even satellites orbiting the Earth,
Yeah.
these effects, they become noticeable and we can actually measure them.
That is wild.
That's pretty amazing.
It is so time. Isn't this like rigid, unchanging thing?
It's not.
It's more fluid,
Yeah,
more relative. I don't know.
I like that more relative.
Yeah, and it's making me think about like all those sci-fi movies about time travel.
Right.
Did Einstein ever like go there, or was he
A great question.
more like this is what we can observe and prove?
So while Einstein's work definitely sparked many imaginations,
Right.
and it kind of opened doors to concepts like time dilation, which is a core element in time travel theories,
Yeah.
Einstein himself really focused on what could be supported by scientific evidence
Okay.
and mathematical equations.
So really sticking within his lane.
Yeah, he was really a physicist, but his theories definitely laid the groundwork for future physicists and thinkers
I bet.
to ponder the possibilities of things that seemed purely fictional before his time.
That's interesting how one person's work can do that.
I know, it's amazing.
Like ignite this
A
whole
little firestorm of new ideas.
Yeah, like he gave us this whole new toolbox to understand the universe.
Absolutely.
But I kind of want to shift gears a little bit here
Okay.
and talk about another side of Einstein that I find really interesting.
Okay, what's that?
His activism.
Oh, yeah.
So here's this scientific genius. You know, he's unlocked some of the biggest secrets of the universe.
Right.
But he's also like deeply concerned about the human condition.
He was. And this wasn't just like a passing interest for him.
Right.
This was a deeply held conviction that science and morality were like inextricably linked. He felt a really profound responsibility
Yeah.
for how his discoveries could be used, especially in the context of like war and peace,
Which brings us to the whole atomic bomb
Right.
situation.
which is a really complex
Yeah,
and ethically challenging part of his legacy.
for sure.
So Einstein was obviously alarmed by the rise of Nazi Germany,
Right.
and he actually signed a letter to President Roosevelt urging the U.S. to develop the atomic bomb
Wow.
because he was afraid that Germany might develop it first.
So he thought it was like a necessary evil.
He did. He thought it was a necessary evil to prevent a greater tragedy.
It's a tough decision.
It is one that I'm sure he grappled with immensely.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But then, obviously, after witnessing the devastation of Hiroshima and Nagasaki,
Right.
he became very vocal.
Like a huge advocate for peace.
A huge advocate for peace and for nuclear disarmament.
Yeah.
And he actually deeply regretted the role that he played in the creation of such a destructive weapon.
I bet it.
He even said that really famous quote,
Which one?
"I know not with what weapons World War III will be fought, but World War III will be fought with sticks and stones."
Wow.
Powerful, right?
Yeah, that's...
It really highlights how even the most brilliant minds
Yeah.
grapple with the weight of their creations,
Oh, totally.
especially when those creations have the potential to cause such immense harm.
It really makes you stop and think.
It does.
Like, scientific progress doesn't exist in a vacuum.
It does.
It's all connected.
It's all intertwined with our values, our ethics, and our responsibility to use that knowledge wisely.
Yeah, you said it. It really makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah,
About the responsibility that comes with knowledge.
for sure.
Like, especially today, where it seems like every day there's some new,
It's true.
like, advancement.
Yeah, it's a question we all have to grapple with, not just scientists.
Yeah.
But I think Einstein's life really embodies that tension. You know,
Totally.
he wasn't afraid to challenge conventions to push the boundaries of what was possible,
Right.
but he also understood the very human consequences of scientific progress.
And that's, I think, what made his activism so powerful.
I agree.
It wasn't just about, you know, the equations and the theories.
Right.
It was about using his platform
Exactly.
to advocate for a better future.
He recognized that intelligence without a moral compass could could be a dangerous thing.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he really saw firsthand
Yeah.
the destructive potential of unchecked power.
Yeah.
And he dedicated the later part of his life to speaking out against it.
So if you had to like sum up,
Okay,
like distill his legacy
Yeah.
into like one core idea.
that's a great question. I think for me, it would be his unwavering belief in the power of individual thought. You know, remember that story about the compass?
Yeah.
That childlike curiosity,
Yeah.
the refusal to accept things at face value.
It's easy to lose that though as you get older.
It is, but Einstein reminds us that questioning those assumptions, challenging them, it's not just for children.
Yep.
And it's not just for scientists.
Yeah.
It's essential for all of us.
Totally.
If we want to create a more thoughtful and compassionate world.
It's like that quote,
Which one?
I believe in standardizing automobiles.
Yeah.
I do not believe in standardizing human beings.
Yes. Such a great quote.
It's all about individuality and like what makes us unique.
Absolutely. He really championed independent thought and the importance of diversity, not just in science, but in all aspects of life.
Well, I think that's a good place to wrap up
Yeah.
our deep dive into the world of Albert Einstein. I think what I'm taking away from this is that his legacy, it's so much bigger than just physics.
He really is.
It's about curiosity, moral responsibility, and this belief in the power of the human spirit.
Beautifully said. It's a legacy that continues to inspire and challenge us to this day.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure talking about Einstein with you today.
This was awesome, and to our listeners out there, thanks for joining us for another deep dive.
Until next time.